Call the meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Gillum.
Aye.
Bunch. Green. Phillips. Templin.
All right. Everyone please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for letting us gather together to conduct business for our city, to lead our city. Give us the wisdom this next hour as we lead your city to give you all the honor and glory. In your name I pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I jumped the gun. We've already called the roll, so we're good there. Approval of the April 25th Beer Board meeting minutes. Do I have any discussion on the April 25th Beer Board meeting minutes? This was in regards to the Vols Diners. There be no discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the April 25th Beer Board meeting minutes as written?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Bunch has made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gillum made the second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum.
Aye.
Bunch.
Aye.
Green.
Abstain.
Phillips. Templin.
All right. Okay, the minutes are approved. Now I have the approval April 25th City Council meeting minutes. Do I have any discussion on the City Council meeting minutes? That, National Day of Prayer, how did that go?
I wasn't here.
I wasn't here, I was,
Cowboy episode.
I don't know.
I think it went good, from what I heard.
We met with Pastor Phillips out here in front of the city building. The city staff that was working was able to get out there and join him with it. It was a good little small
Great.
event.
Good, good. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no further discussion on the April 25th City Council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Gillum's made the motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Ms. Phillips is seconded. Call the roll, please.
Gillum.
Aye.
Bunch.
Aye.
Green. Phillips. Templin.
Aye. Recognize citizens, guests, and visitors. You're recognized. You live up on Hill Street.
Yes.
One of our new citizens. Him and his wife moved here from Michigan.
Yeah, she was gonna make it, but
Okay.
unfortunately,
Now, traffic's
Family issues.
kind of nuts out there. I live on the corner of Hill and Wallace and Legion, or I want to call that the corner of the inn. Can't remember who used to live there.
I don't remember either.
Blockhouse. But thank you for coming.
sure.
The House of Prayer,
Mm-hmm.
they were wanting a roadblock, June the 8th. They are not 501(c)(3). I did tell them that if they got their application in and got it back, they were supposed to be here, by the way. You know, that we would approve it before June the 8th, but if not, they couldn't have the roadblock.
So this would be on condition that their 501 comes back
Yes.
by
By
June the 8th.
yes, and they bring it here and let us see it.
Right. Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve the House of Prayer and Praises request for the roadblock on June the 8th, alternate date June the 15th, on condition that they provide documentation that their 501c3, 3C, what would you call that, permit license, what is that? 501
Tax status.
status, their tax status is approved by the roadblock date.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Ms. Phillips make a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bunch is seconded. Call the roll, please.
Gillum. Bunch.
Aye.
Green. Phillips. Timplin.
All right. Okay. Oh, mayor's report. We have nothing to report. Committee council reports, planning commission, Councilman Gillum.
We're meeting on the 29th this month, sir.
And that is a, Board of Zoning Appeals. Board of Zoning Appeals.
It's at 5
Meeting.
o'clock, and then planning commission will meet after that.
Okay. Nothing else?
That's,
And you had no,
The Recreation Committee didn't meet this month, but we did have the special call, was it?
public hearing.
Public hearing. There was so many meetings today. But a public hearing for the, our ADA grant proposal, so for the ball field. That's it.
Okay. General government report, city manager's report.
Don't forget, Veterans Breakfast is at Clinch River this Saturday, starting between 8 and 8:15. Food will be served about 8:30. The water insurance that we talked about last month, Mr. Green asked a question about enrollment. Everybody will be automatically enrolled, and if they want to decline it, they need to call City Hall to decline it.
Okay. Which Chambers was
And
here?
it will be about 3 months before this goes into effect.
Do we need to have something in writing saying they declined it instead of just a phone call?
We can,
I mean, I'm sure it seems
Create
redundant,
a form.
but at least it's a paper trail.
Yeah, we need that because they can decline it on the phone and then a year later have a bad leak. And why is it I'm having to pay this? I thought, I didn't
okay.
understand when I
Just figure out
declined it,
how to
yeah.
do that. Yeah, we can do that.
That's a good idea.
Maybe the letter that we send out, tell them that down at the bottom, accept or decline, and they can send it. to us.
And put a note in there, no response indicates that you have accepted.
Yes.
I think I would have them to respond one way or the other.
No, that's gonna be a mess.
But
Looking at,
then people say, well, I didn't get mine.
Hmm.
People say, well, I didn't get one.
Well, that's the idea for the automatic enrollment.
everybody's enrolled,
We'll
the
send
only
it
way you're
out
gonna,
with their water.
yeah, the only way you're gonna get out of it is you would have to reply back.
Yeah.
So with a note on there, no response indicates your acceptance of the $2 a month, will be assessed on your fee for this insurance.
now, the insurance will cover, does it cover just the water, or will
Water only.
it will not recover the repairs and any, supplies?
No.
Okay.
There is such a plan, but
Yeah.
that's,
But
we didn't even look.
that-
Well, I was
that
asked.
was not
Yeah.
offered.
I was asked.
Yeah.
That plan was not offered to us.
Okay, okay.
I believe Anderson County has
They
that
do.
option.
They do, and it was like $12.
Yeah, yeah.
So the sewer project is underway. They're taking pictures around town. And then there will be a Veterans Memorial program on Memorial Day at the Veterans Memorial. And then
State Representative
Butler
Butler will be
speaking.
there. He's the guest speaker.
And then we need a special call meeting June the 6th at 6 o'clock just for budget amendment. That will be our first reading on the budget amendment. Then our second one will be next city council meeting, just to get the budget in line for the auditors and stuff. So June 6th, we need to have a special call meeting.
What's the credit card?
And then the credit card is, we switched banks to Peoples because Truist was charging us about $5,000 in fees. And to switch the credit cards, we have to have you all to vote that you know, they have to have documentation from city council so we could get credit cards from people.
Are we getting credit cards from Peoples?
Yes.
Okay. I know originally they
We talked
didn't
about
offer.
not, but I think we'd rather have the.
Okay. So what we're looking for is a motion to move our credit card account from Truist Bank to Peoples
Yes.
Bank.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Mr. Gillum's made the motion. Do I have a second?
A second motion.
Ms. Phillips seconded. Call roll, please.
Gillum.
Aye.
Bunch.
Aye.
Green. Phillips.
Aye.
Templing.
Aye.
And then the last thing is this lead service line inventory. It's on the website now.
Are we getting any response on it?
I got one the other, last night, Austin filled it out. So,
We got 799 more.
so, I mean, there's other people that's filled it out before we got it on the website. I just put it on the website, a Google form, and then it's on the website
Okay.
telling about it. So people can go on there and fill it out now. And
We've got what's our timeline here? Is
I
it
think it's
December?
October.
Is it October?
Yeah,
We had to have a plan by December, this previous December.
yeah.
We had to have a plan. It's got to be in, we may still have to shake the tree.
I'm gonna give this a little while, and then if not, we'll take it around. So,
What time is Memorial Day?
I don't know, she did not tell me what time it was.
2 o'clock. I believe it's 2 o'clock. I have to go in and check my text. I'm pretty sure it's 2 o'clock. I know, it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock on Memorial Day, yes, 2 o'clock.
So I had a citizen ask about the sidewalk project that we had. Is everything still in line to, I guess, to work in sequence? Because we were trying to time it
With the paving?
with the paving, after the sewer.
I canceled the paving, they called about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I called the guy that was in charge and asked him if we could put that off another year, because our sidewalk hopefully will start next year.
Yeah.
He said yes. So the paving is next year, year 26, and hopefully the sidewalk project.
We'll be
will
done by
start
then, yeah.
And then, just to be clear, this is from 4th Street to the middle school project.
No, this would be from here.
From here,
to Fourth
yeah.
Street.
Oh, from here to 4th Street.
Yeah, paving really won't get involved from Fourth Street to
The city
middle
limits,
school,
yeah.
because there's a ditch little ways between there, so, but.
Our issue from here to 4th Street is we want to solve this drainage issue in conjunction with the sidewalk project.
And that's what put the sidewalk off another year.
Right,
Well, the
I know
right-of-way
that's a-
issue too.
I know that's a grant, and I didn't know if there was a timeline on completing that, if we were gonna lose it.
No,
Just
they're
making
still
sure.
working on it.
Okay.
Well, and part of the delay wasn't us, it was, they came back with some right-of-way issues.
Yeah, right-of-way issues is
They had some issues with the, where the street crossings are, where they have to put the ADA compliant ramps in, that they were gonna have to obtain more right of way. It didn't sound right to me, but that's what they said.
I have a question when you're done.
I'm done.
Any updates on the tool shack building?
Tool shack building, city attorney asked if we would do a environmental assessment. And he said he would feel a whole lot better if we did that. And so I reached out to the Lydia at the Brownsville, grant.
Yeah.
And she emailed me back and said yes. So now, in her email, I asked her, is there anything I need to do? And she said, no, you've done what you needed to do, so I'm just waiting on
Okay.
So are we waiting, no, that's a private thing. Are they gonna use that grant to do that, the environmental study on it? Is that what you're talking about?
No, we're doing the environmental study. The city attorney asked if we would do
But it'll be through that brownfield.
it. Yeah, it will move through the
Yeah.
grant, yes, it is a grant.
Because I thought that the
My
property owner,
understanding it is a grant.
I thought that it was the property owner that had to do that. I didn't know.
Well, they might be going through the property owner to do it,
Okay.
but we've requested it, that we wanted an environmental assessment. So
Now-
that might be
So-
how it's being done.
Yeah.
Is we requested it, and now they're reaching out to the property
To
owner.
But
the
that is
executors.
done through the grant, that's not
Yeah.
costing the city
No,
anything.
no.
I don't,
Is
that's
those-
free for everybody. ain't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
All the identified properties. And I'm
That
sure.
was an identified property.
Oh, yes, it was. Nothing else?
No, that's all I have.
April sewer adjustments, total of $862. We're starting to fill pools. Everyone, everyone on here is a pool fill. Even Councilwoman Phillips. For, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Four separate adjustments of a high of $559 for Rocky Top Motel. James Shetterly, $212, Christina Duff, $50, and Greg Phillips, $41. So do I have a motion to approve the April sewer adjustments for a total of $862? Okay. Mr. Bunch has made the motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Green is seconded. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Bunch, Green, Phillips,
Abstain.
Templin.
Aye. Motion passed. Monthly water loss of 39.2%. We're down a little bit. We're still way too blooming high. We had a bad leak, and we'll cover that under the water and sewer report. But we're working to get that number down. It's a constant work in progress. Police report.
Thank you. I apologize for missing last month. I was in Nashville for training at a new chief's course that I had to attend on a grant. For the calendar month of April for the police department, your officers made 22 arrests. They conducted 139 traffic stops. Out of those, they issued 59 citations and 39 written warnings. They completed 64 incident reports, had a total of 342 calls for service, which includes self-initiated activity as well as call-ins from our citizens and others. No overdoses recorded. Personnel, we
Whoa,
still,
that's the first, how long has it been?
it's been a few months, sir. Yes.
Since we've not had an
Yes.
overdose.
For personnel, we still have one officer. It's in the Basic Police Academy, Officer Malakote. She's going to graduate on, I believe it's June 21st. And
It says 22nd here.
22nd, I apologize. And we are fully staffed, of course, filling for her position while she's there. And then when she comes back, she'll complete some further field training to make sure she's got everything she needs to be able to work solo. Shift coverage, we've had some training that was on grant, so we've spent a little bit of overtime, but we've kept that reasonable for covering for those officers going to that training. For our grants, under the VCIF grant, we received some rifle flashlights and bags and evidence packaging items. that were paid for with the grant, and then the training that we'll talk about later. We still have about $8,000 left of the training portion of that grant that they want us to spend by July 1st, and about $1,000 in equipment. No problem on the equipment, but with the training, it's really a crunch to get there, and I'm going to ask for a deferment of that amount to the next fiscal year, since there's also training funds for 24 to 25. It's just, we're trying to get to the training and all that stuff, but we still also got to cover the city and make sure that we have sufficient staff here. The Toledo Recruitment and Reimbursement Grant, they expanded the scope of that to where it includes one of our officers, Officer Powers, where he had been out of law enforcement for more than 1 year. So he had his 6 months with the City of Rocky Top Police Department. He's getting $1,000 from there. And then at 1 year, 2 year, and 3 years, he'll get $3,000 each from the state on that grant for that. That'll also include Officer Maples, who we hired in February, who had been out for about 2.5 years. So he'll get it on the same pay schedule. And Officer Malacote gets a different schedule for a total of $8,000, being a new officer that had not been previously certified. Our THSO grant for traffic safety, we've got a radar unit ordered. Officers worked some of the traffic enforcement on that during the past month. That grant's $5,000 and it runs to October, and we're about halfway expended on that one. We'd applied for a Norfolk Southern grant, haven't heard back from it. It's for some medical equipment so that we can support the fire departments, things like AEDs and trauma packs. So if we can get to a scene with the fire department while they're waiting on their ambulance, their officers can provide them some support if we are awarded that grant. We'd applied for a Pilot Corporation grant. It was for upgrade of our body-worn camera system. I just found out we got turned down for that because Pilot doesn't operate in our area, and that's their priority for whom they.
Casey's.
Yeah. We're conducting an inventory of evidence. We've got approximately 750 items in evidence from whenever I became chief, and about 60 or 80 that we've put in there since I've been there. We've got some from old cases and that are no longer needed. They've been adjudicated or no one was charged, so we've cleared out about 350 of those items to bring that up to speed and operating as it should be. Probably take me about 6 more months working with the staff and the evidence clerk that we've got to get that as it should be. The biggest thing that I want to talk about is accreditation. The department applied for accreditation through TLEA. It's Tennessee Law Enforcement Accreditation. It is a 3-year process to get accredited. It costs us $300 to apply. We get a $75 rebate from public entity partners, and also once we're accredited, we'll get a $100 reduction in our premium for the law enforcement portion of that insurance per certified officer. So it should be $800 off for that. The main purpose of that is to make the department show that they're professional, be transparent with their citizens, provide our services to them by following the standards and the policies, or modeling our policies rather off of what their best practices are that they publish for program participants. We'll get a mentor agency. I believe Clinton is an accredited agency as well as Oak Ridge, so they'll help us get through the process. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of sending in policies, getting them published, getting officers trained on them. They have assessors that will review that and also come out and see that we're doing in the field what we say we're doing on paper. And I really like that idea for giving the best service to our citizens that we can. For training, all on grant, we had sent Officer Hensley to ASP Instructor School, which is for baton handcuffing and other type skills. Detective Powers has attended a basic criminal investigations and a crime scene operation training. Deputy Chief McGee and Sergeant Perkins went to a first line leadership school on the VCIF grant, and then I went to the new Chiefs course that I mentioned from last month. Cases of significance that we had since the last city council meeting, we had several burglaries of unlocked cars over at the fairgrounds. We didn't take many reports, but we heard of a lot more where people didn't find anything missing, nothing damaged, but they, through the grapevine, they had shared word with friends that their vehicles were broken into. Anderson County took several as well off of Lake City Highway at the south end of the city. As far as I know, I don't believe there's been any arrests in that. Well, I didn't get any information on anything of significance or trackable that we could find. We had a suspect that almost struck a pedestrian, and one of the officers chased into Briceville. That ended with all of our officers okay. The suspects did receive some injuries, but there was a convicted felon with guns and drugs in the car that we were able to arrest and get to jail.
Was it correct here that felon in that car had been released from prison 13 hours?
I had heard it was a short time. I don't know if the 13 hours, but it was a really
I
short
was
time,
told
sir.
13 hours.
Yeah, yeah, and right
He'd
back
be
in.
going back.
Exactly. Officers made several drug arrests and picked up several wanted people since last month on their traffic stops. For our budget, right now at 10 months in, we're 83.3% through the budget cycle, and our expenditures are at 79%. So we're going to keep that under control and end the fiscal year appropriately.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Question?
I did have one question.
Yes, sir.
On the training, on the grant that we get for the training, does any of those grants, does it cover any of the payroll, or does it just cover the cost of the training, and the payroll is just covered under our budget?
It covers the cost of the training itself, the accommodation if it's further out where the officer has to stay at a hotel, but it does not cover the payroll as far as I'm aware.
There's some federal training grants that cover that.
Yes, sir, and I've seen those before where they'll actually pay for the backfill of someone to work overtime to fill that, but not the
Some of the Homeland
VCF.
Security stuff does that.
Yes,
Are
sir.
the officers that are doing the training, are they compensated while they're training, or is that just?
They're receiving their regular hourly pay. It's figured into their hours for that payroll.
Okay.
Sometimes they do end up with some overtime because of us, you
Because I was
know.
wondering, like, if that was somehow figured into the cost of the training, just to pay the officers.
It is not under the scope of the grant that we have for training. I wish it were. That would be
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of.
something that would be helpful to the city budget. Yes, sir.
So. Well, I appreciate all the hard work you're doing and your investment into the community.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's a lot of improvements that I've been seeing, so.
I'm glad to hear
You and
that.
the police department are doing a
The
great
officers
job.
they're doing a great job.
Thank you.
They're doing a great job.
I got a phone call today personally complaining about the traffic,
Yes,
tractor trailer traffic on the freeway.
Yes.
And before he hung up, he said, look, he said, I wanna thank you, but do you thank everybody else? He said, I've seen a big difference in Rocky Top. He said, I've seen a huge difference in Rocky Top as far as the appearance, and he specifically mentioned the police department. So thank you so much.
I'm glad to hear that. These guys get out there and work, and they've got the right work ethic, and they're invested in this community, and I just hope to give them everything that they need to be able to do the job that they're doing. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'd forgotten one other thing. It's a late development just over the last, actually today, we've got an opportunity for officers to work on for the TDOT, for the construction that they're doing there. That doesn't cost the city any money. They're paying the officers directly and then compensating the city a $5 surcharge per hour for the use of the vehicles.
Great. Question?
Yes, sir.
7th, did the 7th bust a place in town today?
I'm not aware if they did. I just got in from Nashville like 45 minutes ago and hadn't heard.
There was a
I've
gang,
not heard anything.
well, there was a gang of them eating lunch
Mhm.
at Vols, and talked to them a minute, and they said, we're going after some bad guys in your town, so.
I'll check on that. I'm
Be
interested
safe.
to know.
Thank
too.
you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you all.
thank you. Fire department report, 31 EMS calls, 1 vehicle fire, 2 lockouts, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 1 mutual aid call to Medford. No overdoses, no forced entries, assisted police 1 time, and 1 LZ. Total calls for the month, 39. Total calls for the year, 157. Public Works report. 55.5 tons of garbage picked up in April. Numbers creeping up a little bit. 11.5 tons of brush. Been mowing, trimming throughout town. We'll call out the sheriff's department and their support with the prisoners. They did creek bank over here behind the ball field. Right here. Yeah, and I know Van Huss has been bush hogging behind Shelby. and here, and I bushed hogged
You get
down off
behind your
Industrial
house?
Park.
He did a fantastic job.
But yeah, just staying on top of it. This has been a bad year for all the rain. I mean, man, it's, the grass and brush is really taking off. Our city manager worked with TDOT and got approximately how many tons of millings have we got? They just haul and haul and haul.
Yeah.
The millings were the grinding off the interstate, they gave them to us. So we're using them. We're gonna try to cover that parking area behind the ball field. We're gonna try to get it down on there to keep people out of the
It
mud.
was really the police chief that used somebody.
Okay, well, there you go. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Good to know people.
I asked him, but
I didn't know what
And
millings
we
were.
even,
The city manager
we even
explained
used it
to
for
me.
backfill
Yes.
on that water line
yeah,
job.
we did it on First Street today.
We're paying 15 to 20 bucks a ton for gravel. Just that's free. If I can stockpile 1,000 tons of it, I'll do it in a heartbeat. We use it for everything. Replaced the backhoe window, we don't want to talk about that. Did maintenance on equipment, maintenance on the ball fields, and they've got the bridge, they're done with the pressure washing on the bridge, right?
Yes. Well, they still got the little bridge.
Okay. I need to talk to Mr. Braden about painting, because he said he would paint the bridge here for us and cough up the paint. I'll give him a call tomorrow. Okay, water sewer. Several repairs, had a major break. What was that? Yeah, 8-inch, coming from the main feed in the tank up there. I noticed, when was that break?
That was a week ago.
Okay, 'cause
We had to call the school department. Let them know.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, a week ago
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
Because when I came back
Because it was
from work
already early out.
Wednesday night, you could taste dirt in the water. That's the first time I've tasted dirt in the water since we've lived back in town. You could tell that it had a really bad break. The sewer project has started. They're doing camera on all the lines to see what work is gonna have to be done. They've already found a problem up on Wallace Street where we'd screwed up a sewer tap several years ago, and our sewer tap is running into an 8-inch sewer line about that far. So when the camera goes, the camera can't go any farther because our 4-inch sewer tap, we screwed up on, we shoved it too far into the pipe. So we spoke to the engineers today about that, and it's either, when they get to that point, either they fix it and we pay them to fix it, or we fix it. But we can't touch anything right now because of the project. Installed a couple cleanouts, cleaned around the pump stations, jetted 4 sewer lines. They treated 15,084,000 gallons of water at the sewer plant last month. And we will start smoking, a part of the sewer line project. We're gonna be smoking, doing a lot up on the north end, on the Campbell County end, looking for infiltration and illegal taps. Anybody notice the smoke in their house? That's us. Resolutions and ordinances. First reading of new ordinances, ordinance 586. An ordinance of the city of Rocky Top, Tennessee, amending fiscal year 23-24 budget. Passed by ordinance number 574, whereas city of Rocky Top adopted fiscal year, I'm not gonna go through that. Section 1, recreation has been amended to $14,000, is that correct?
Yes.
And,
Decreasing.
decreasing line item expenses by 3,000 in the recreation fund on repair and maintenance of buildings.
increase in the revenue miscellaneous.
Okay, by $11,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, good. So our revenues have increased.
Well, that's the school board.
Yeah, okay, that pays for the school.
And so, but, I guess just for clarity on this, we're getting this from, the money's coming from the school board.
Yes.
$10,000,
Yeah,
And then-
1,000 of it was from Campbell County.
right?
They gave us $1,000 the other night at a meeting I was at.
Okay.
They gave all the cities
So
1,000.
we had originally
We got it.
appropriated $5,000. What?
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to get at, for clarity purposes, that the money that we're moving around is not coming from anything else.
Right.
Our money, $1,300 will be our money,
Yeah,
and then,
And then whatever,
yes.
probably another 1,000, 1,500 to install it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Feels a whole lot better than what we first looked at. They were throwing $20,000 and $25,000 numbers around. Okay, any discussion in regards to ordinance 586? If there be no discussion, do I have a motion to approve on first reading ordinance number 586?
make a motion to approve it.
Okay, Mr. Green's made the motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Phillips seconded. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Bunch, Green,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Templin.
Aye. Okay, ordinance number 587. Ordinance to amend Rocky Top Municipal Code by revising water and sewer Title 18, Section 18 TAC 101, 18 TAC 103, and 18 TAC 105, effective July 1st. This is in regards to our water rates. We had voted last year by ordinance that annually, the rate would increase by 2.5% or CPI, whichever one was greater. CPI is,
4%.
so we're increasing 4%. We're also on the, out of town
We increased it another 5.
Sewer.
Anderson County charges us 10%.
Anderson County charges us 10% to bill us for sewer customers outside of the city that are on Anderson County water.
So when we see these annual rate changes, does this stay at 4%? You said it's a 4%, does it go down?
I tell you, before July 1, if it goes down, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to. If it goes down, then yes, we could decrease it. If y'all say, to decrease it or whatever on this motion, give us I'll look at it in June, and then we can go with what the CPI is then. Right now, when I looked, the end of March was 4%.
But as it goes down through the year, are they just gonna, I guess we'll just stay high for the whole year?
Yeah,
But if it goes up between now and then,
yeah, we will increase.
yeah, we're not gonna increase it. Maximum 4%.
Yeah,
But it can go down between now.
yeah, and
And
between now and
June
July,
30th.
and I will decrease.
So, that would be the motion to approve on first reading, ordinance number 587, conditionally that the CPI rate be set at 4%. If the CPI decreases,
And we'll know this is just the first reading, so June the 20th.
we'll know it
we'll
by
know
then.
what it is.
Yeah. Then it will decrease if the CPI decreases.
I guess a question that I have is like, what does our budget look like? I mean, are we in a positive net position?
Right now, The departments, matter of fact, I sort of put a freeze on stuff yesterday, because, I was looking at everything. Our departments are good as far as expenditures. Our revenue is not what it is.
Our water
what we-
revenue has
what we get.
decreased over the last
So
7
we're
years.
right tinkering right here, so I just put a freeze on stuff except for essential items, or if they got grants, then they could use that money, but just to go out and buy stuff, then they have to get approval for it. Just so we will be good.
So, so I guess, are you saying that we're just trying to get ahead by raising these rates?
Well, I mean, right
We're just
now.
trying to stay
Because, I mean, if
Stay
we're,
afloat, we're just trying to stay
I
afloat.
mean, we're not in the negative, is what you're saying.
No, we're close.
They-
We're close.
So-
Water and sewer especially. I mean, they're, right now, I think they're about $3,000 in the positive. I mean, in one blowout, they could be, and here's the thing, and one thing is, last year, there was 170,000 in the negative. And if we're in the negative this year, then we have to go to Nashville, and Nashville will set our rates. And that's what I'm trying not to do, is be
Well,
in the
it's
negative
something we
in
need
water
to be
and sewer.
looking forward on this 1.3 million that we're short on the project. If we finance that, not if, we're gonna finance that, it's gonna cost us about $10,000 a month,
Yeah,
120,000 a year. So we need to be looking at pushing 10,000 a month into the budget.
So,
Water
Sorry.
sewer.
so how much more revenue are we looking at to raise it, say, 4%? I mean, what,
and right now, it is at, I think, sewer is at $799.
no, I'm talking about in total for the year. I mean, like, where does
What
this
does that get us?
2.5%?
What does that 4% get us?
In revenue,
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you without looking at it. I can tell you June 6th, what it was. Or I can go in there and go turn it on.
Last
and tell you
year's-
right now what.
Last year's increase wasn't an appreciable increase in revenue for us.
And really, I know, you can look at every item on there, but the big two is water and sewer. And it's, I mean, 4% is maybe $50,000 to $75,000 more. And that's the two big revenue items. Rest of it is 30,000.
so, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying is we're getting about $50,000 in extra revenue for every 1%,
Yeah,
is about.
yeah, maybe a little more.
No, we're not getting that much. Not for every 1%, no.
It was, I know it was 800 or 799 for sewer, and last year was 756. I think.
So, that was 50,000 for sewer.
Yeah,
What the
water
increase
was 6 something, and I think it went up about 50,000.
Okay. So that's 100,000. Okay, but we did 6% last year,
We did 6%.
6 and 6. So, and that came out to about $100,000.
Yeah.
This for, what do you think, 60,000? An additional 60,000 at 4%, kind of roughly, an additional $60,000.
But I mean, just like at the sewer plant, we spent 50,000 just like that. In parts.
The bearings on the future
25,000.
cost us
And then we spent
$25,000.
another 25,000 on, I can't remember exactly what it was.
What was Gearbox,
Yeah.
that was a gearbox going. That was another 25,000. We need to spend about $5,000 on a processed water wash down. One of the things that's screwing us on water loss, we have to, and this isn't right, but this is what the state's making us do. We're using, I'm pulling a number here, 2 million gallons a month at the sewer plant as processed water that they use for wash down and that they run through the system. The state calls that a loss. It's not a loss, we're using it. But the state holds that against us and jacks our percentage up here. And that's what winds up getting us before the comptroller's office and them setting our rates. We're looking at putting a pump in the outfall, where it's probably gonna cost $3,000 to $5,000. We're using treated processed water that's going to the creek. This is treated sewer water, but it's treated, it's clean. And you don't really need clean water for what they're doing, they're washing stuff down. They're assisting the poop to go through the system, so it doesn't have to be that clean. But this wouldn't cost us anything but electricity and the initial investment. When I first looked at this about 1.5 years ago, by the numbers Mikey gave me from the sewer plant, we're spending about $5,500 a year paying for water, which is really, when I first saw that number, I said, what's that, $5,500 a year? It's not worth the effort to go in and try to put a process in to do this. But then, when I looked at it from this standpoint, that this is dramatically affecting our water loss every year, what the state sees as percentage loss, then the $5,000 grew to a much, you see what I'm talking about here? It's face value, it doesn't cost us that much money to use potable water, but that water is being counted against us as a loss by the state, which makes us look really bad that we have uncontrolled water loss, and that can cause them to come in and do an adjustment of our rates, of which we don't. Anytime they do an adjustment, it's double digits, so we don't want to go there. And that's something we need to spend some money on. We need to put a new roof on the sludge press building. That's probably gonna cost us about $15,000. We need to buy a new sludge press. It's about $250,000, if we don't include the engineers.
Exactly. It's right here. What ordinance is that? 585.
585?
Yeah, water and sewer charges.
Okay, here we go.
4.3 million,
Mhm.
25 is 1.4.
So, 100,000.
Yeah.
It increased 100,000. And we're intentionally working short over there too. Any other discussion in regards to ordinance number 587? First reading of ordinance number 587. There be no further discussion on ordinance 587. Do I have a motion to approve on first reading ordinance number 587?
Make that motion.
Mr. Gillis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Ms. Phillips, second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Bunch, Green, Phillips, Templin.
Aye.
And I don't like paying I don't like paying extra, but I don't want people in Nashville that don't have a clue as to our situation, setting our rates.
We're living hand to mouth, and we're not doing anybody any favors by artificially keeping rates low. We're not. Okay, second and final reading of ordinance number 585. This is the ordinance of the City of Rocky Top, Tennessee adopting annual budget and tax rate fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. Do I have any discussion in regards to the final reading of ordinance number 585? There'll be no discussion or comment. Do I have an emotion to approve final reading of ordinance number 585?
I make the motion to approve.
Ms. Phillips made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Gillum seconds. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Bunch, Green,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Templin.
Aye. Okay. Ordinance number 585 has passed on its second and final reading. Adoption of resolutions. There be none to come before the board. Do I have any unfinished business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
And the chief is not here.
And they're talking.
Doing chief stuff out there.
As you are all aware, I'm a detective with the Anderson County Sheriff's Department with my full-time job. Thursday afternoon, I stopped up here for some pictures of a suspect vehicle that had stole some building materials. Saturday morning, at 7:09, I was notified by Officer Culver here at Rocky Top, had the vehicle stopped and had a real good suspect, and I can't say enough about this police department. Can't say enough.
They're awesome.
They're aggressive.
That information led me to Stony Fork Tuesday.
Sticks.
Yeah, yes, sir, it is. And I was in New River half a day yesterday trying to track this person down, and I can't. But I can't. People talk about this police department. When you have to work with these people, it's a totally different beast as compared to 2 years ago. Totally different, for the better. For the better.
I know we're working really good with the sheriff's department. I've heard comments from deputies.
Well, in less than 48 hours, I had pictures of the truck, I had pictures of the driver, I had the driver's DL information and phone numbers for the owner of the truck and the driver of the truck.
Good. He's back.
They're talking about you.
My ears were burning, man.
It was good, it was good, Chief.
Good.
Going back, do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bunch has made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gillum, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
And everybody agrees.
Not everybody.